is back for a new season of Expedition Unknown, which might be the boldest season yet. Josh, thank you so much for your time today.
Hey, thrilled to be here. Thanks for having me.
Last season we kicked off in Petra, and this time we're going to a classified mission for World War II.
Absolutely, yeah. Last year we were digging in the deserts of Petra, made some real news there, and this year we're going after something called the America Bomber. And this is a story I really didn't know that much about, but Hitler and the top Nazis were really intent on building a long-range bomber that could bring World War II to American soil. And they had dreamed of obliterating Manhattan and Washington, D.C. And prototypes of these planes, various different designs, were built. And so we're digging into this story and trying to see just how close the Nazis came to drastically altering the face of World War II.
Yeah, especially watching the news now. There's a big parallel from kind of what we're seeing now versus all those things that the public necessarily doesn't know, especially in kind of times like this.
That's right. In the war, long-range bombers were a huge part of the Allies' success. It's a big part of what gave the U.S. Real dominance over Nazi Germany. And Hitler really just needed one of these planes to be built that could bring bombs over to New York City. And so you think about, it would have been a much different conflict if we'd lost much of Manhattan.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not just that, you're going to Kenya, the Wild West, Greece, Turkey. There's so many different stories and mysteries that we're following here. Tell us a little bit about, some of the things that we're going to see in this new season.
For sure. We're going to be investigating the man-eaters of Tsavo. This is a pair of lions that went on a killing spree in the late 1800s as the British were trying to build a railway across what is now Kenya. And it's an incredible story. It was made into a film many years ago called The Ghost in the Darkness. These two lions, their pelts and their skulls are held at the Field Museum in Chicago, where scientists are making new discoveries about these lions, even more than a century later. So an amazing opportunity to learn about this story. We're going to be going to the Bermuda Triangle of Greece, a small island out in the Mediterranean that is surrounded by ancient shipwrecks. So trying to work with experts there to discover what has been swallowing these ships. And we're going to be looking for treasure. What would Expedition Unknown be if we didn't go look for a pirate treasure at some point? So we're going to be chasing down the treasure of the pirate Anne Bonny, a pirate who I think needs a bit more press. She was a real kind of incredible character who vanished into the pages of history, and we're going to be hunting down her legend and her treasure as well.
Yeah, no, I love too that not only can you just watch the episodes of the series, but that you can actually go to a museum and continue the journey and continue the conversation as well too.
That's right. You can go to the Field Museum and you can see the man-eaters of Tsavo up close and personal. And so many of these locations that we visit, places like Anne Bonny's treasure, a lot of these spots are, that's right here in the U.S. and the Carolinas. And so these are places that people can go and investigate on their own. And so it's an exciting way to be a part of the adventure.
It's funny too. I was in grade school. I remember reading about, and learning about the Bermuda Triangle and being, as an adult, still being scared of this particular place. Now there's two of them. There's one near Greece too. Oh my goodness.
I know they're everywhere. It's becoming a problem.
Tell me a little bit about kind of preparing for the season, because obviously this isn't, making a quick phone call and being able to shoot there the next day. Tell us a little bit about the process of the research that goes into each one of these episodes.
Sure. Look, we want to go to places where archaeologists and scientists are doing work. And so we let that guide our compass. So, because we want to be in a place where real discovery is happening. This season, we are really thrilled to be going to Göbekli Tepe. This is the oldest human construction ever discovered out in Turkey. And we're going there because archaeologists are making incredible new finds there. And it was an opportunity for us to get in the trenches with them and explore this incredible site that is a part of our shared human history that dates back, 12,000 years. Really incredible stuff.
Talk a little bit about the role of technology, because obviously there's these things that we think we know about or that we feel like we have an understanding on. But as time goes on and as technology grows, we get to learn even more that maybe we didn't understand.
It's true. Remote sensing technology has totally changed the exploration business. Things like LiDAR, laser mapping, which can kind of magically cut through jungle canopies and find ruins buried below, or autonomous sonar vehicles that are helping us locate lost planes deep out in the Pacific from World War II. But even with all that technology, you have to ground truth it, as they say. So you still need explorers to go out there and find out what that data really shows. And so we're so thrilled to be able to go out with these explorers and ground truth these stories, and to bring our viewers along for the ride. I mean, in our season premiere, going to these tunnels in Poland, these are places nobody has seen since the end of the war. So it's an opportunity to get hands on and to really dig into history.
Oh, exactly. And they talk a little bit about working with the explorers as well too, because we don't necessarily see all their work all the time on television or on our screens, and but be able to share their stories and their work because they're putting in so much time and effort into solving these mysteries or shedding light on these things from our past.
That's right. I mean, we'll, look at Gobekli Tepe. We're there for a week or so working with them. These are guys who, in many cases, men and women who've been digging in these sites for decades, for their entire career, down in the dirt trying to find the tiny pieces, the tiny puzzle pieces that help tell these stories. Or the group that we're working with in the Pacific called Project Recover, an amazing organization that looks for lost MIAs from World War II. So look, this is to me one of the big thrills of the show, is not just for me to go and have these amazing adventures, but to have our viewers introduced to these amazing explorers around the world.
Last question here. Kind of your own thoughts, or as you're kind of wrapping up filming for the day, and you get to go to sleep and kind of process the day of process what you just shot, what you just experienced. I mean, what is that like? For you being like, oh my goodness, I feel like I'm in a history book. Like, what does that feel like for you?
Yeah, I mean, usually I'm exhausted at the end of the day, but it does. There are these pinch me moments where you're at a dig site in Göbekli Tepe, for instance. Down in the trenches, looking up at these huge stone pillars with these enigmatic glyphs and carvings, and being there and discovering tools, old Stone Age tools, and you think somebody held this in their hand 12,000 years ago, just after the last ice age, and so that connection to the past is really something. It really makes you feel this big continuum of time and how we are connected, all of us, to this incredible history.
Awesome. Well, Josh, thank you so much for your time today. The new season coming to us this Wednesday, June 18th on Discovery Channel.
All the best.
Thank you.